sucks. Ohio. Great Value Spiko Day. And today we're taking a look at the Great Value version of the Great Value version of the Browning High Power. Specifically, the compact version. So, I have, give me a moment, I guess I have the CZ75 Compact, which is weird because I did buy a CZP01. I think the gun store owner just kind of swapped them out and hoped I wouldn't notice. Which is funny because, you know, I specifically remember fucking with the decocker and wishing that it didn't have rails on it, and this one doesn't have rails, but it doesn't have decocker. So, obviously, this isn't going to be a comprehensive review. And also, obviously, these are not great cigarettes. That is mostly because these are more than a year old. I forgot them in the back of my closet, and I just sort of found them. So, now, I did take it apart and put it back together while I was drunk, and apparently I also loaded it with what? I'm not entirely sure. It is 9x19. Drunk Me did also chamber around and put the hammer on half cock, which is no mean feat because this is a pretty mean hammer spring. So, good job, Drunk Me. So, CZ75 Compact. No decocker, but a nice safety. Which doesn't work because it's on half cock. Let me... Motherfucker. Yep. So, I don't really know what to think about it so far. It fits the hand nicely. Sights look good. It seems well made. It comes with two, well, mine came with two 25, God, I wish. Mine came with a pair of 15 rounders, double stack, single feed. It's antiquated, but again, this is just a communist knockoff of Browning High Power, so this magazine is from 20 something, so you can forgive them for that. We'll see how reliably it feeds today, albeit using underpowered ammunition, because there's panic on. I was able to find two 50-round boxes of 9x19, but they're both soft-loaded Luger. I'm pretty sure that these are 115 grains I have loaded. And I do remember that this has a pretty stiff recoil spring from when I was disassembling it, so really, you shouldn't take this as gospel truth on feeding. It does seem to me like this is more something that will want to feed NATO standard 9mm, possibly plus P. The manufacturer does in fact approve plus P in the giant manual over there, which we'll get to when I talk about disassembly. And I need to stop smoking. So, last time I went shooting, I managed to shoot my target stand. I wish I had caught that on camera better. It's a hell of a shot. Just bang and die. Yeah, fucking thing exploded. None of this footage is usable. Is this even recording? Yeah. So. Without further ado, let's break the peace of this beautiful morning by popping off a few shots. Now, we are not on the range today, and it is apparently some form of public holiday, so please bear with any screaming you hear in the background. This is a hiking trail back there that I'm using as my backstop, and there is a car over there, so I may accidentally kill someone. Frankly, I don't value human life, so I don't see that as a downside. I also no longer have a target stand, but I do have a K-bar and some targets. So I was going to stick targets to telephone poles using the K-bar, but I forgot my target. Fortunately, someone has dumped a huge amount of garbage over there, so I am going to instead stick an old pizza box, which is not mine, to a tree or a telephone pole using a K-bar, and then shoot at that. So I don't want to imply any kind of endorsement or non-endorsement of Topper's Pizza with this. This is just the garbage that I had on hand. So just ignore the logo. Logo. I'm sorry. Just ignore the logo. And I will take a couple of pot shots and tell you what I think. Of the handgun. I hope I didn't hit my K-bar. That'd suck. Huh. Almost, but not quite. See, the shot impacted there and the knife was there. So, it seems that our pizza box target does not work as intended. I'll try again. I'll just stab the pizza box in deeper. Yeah, okay, so let's try that again. It's from about 15 feet. We're not going to count that one into the pattern. So already I've destroyed my K-bar, but on the plus side, the patterning is extremely good. Let's see, I think I shot the knife itself 2 times? So that's quite good, honestly. Really, I was only expecting to hit the knife not at all. Frankly, I wasn't expecting to hit the target at all. This is like a pretty good grouping. I do have a flyer down here, but honestly that's probably just me flinching, so pretty good, I'd say. Now, let's find something else to shoot at, which will actually stay in place. Now, with handguns, really, I am of the opinion that there's just not a lot to talk about. Aside from the obvious memes, this is just a gun. It's nice, I like the weight, I like the way it feels. I am reasonably accurate with it. It's the first time I shot it. And like I said, these sights are really very good. They are 3-dot tritium sights. Quite frankly, I'm not sure how much this textured surface in between the sights does. Some people like it, some people think it reduces glare from the sun. Frankly, I've never seen a use for that. As far as the handling goes, well, the mag release is a bit tricky. It is this push button here. I'll pick that up in a second. So it's a bit spongy. You do have to push it in fairly far, and for me that means breaking my grip. Magazine changes themselves aren't difficult because, like I said, the very nature of a double-stack single-feed magazine means it's basically a triangle. You can't fuck up putting that in the gun. So, well, really that's about all there is to say for gun handling. In terms of daily use, you might become rather annoyed by the small slide. With the hammer down, it's remarkably difficult to pull back and let forward. Again, the lack of a decocker is not great. It is double action, single action, which means theoretically you can carry, if you had the decocker, you could carry hammer down on a live cartridge by loading the gun, chambering a bullet, then pushing this all the way down, which would, on an actual model, release the hammer safely. At which point you could, when you need to, draw the gun, aim, and simply begin firing. Honestly, the lack of a decocker is really kind of a deal breaker with this, because no matter how good the gun itself is, a handgun is at its heart sort of like a pocket knife. Its utility is determined by whether or not you can carry it every day comfortably. Honestly, with this very large hammer, you'd have trouble finding a holster which would easily accommodate it, carrying it, well, sort of like a 1911. Honestly, on a full-size handgun, it's not much of a big deal, but for something which bills itself as compact and attempts to be such, really that extra little bit of space is more annoying than you'd think. You're going to have trouble finding a good concealed carry holster that'll actually let you conceal this. If you plan to just carry it as a duty gun, my first question would be why. You're missing a couple extra inches on the barrel here, which is actually quite a big deal as far as accuracy when you're using such a short base for these iron sights. If you're looking more for power, then that's also a big deal, because that means less space for powder to burn. This hits a happy medium where it accomplishes really virtually nothing that I would want from a handgun. The capacity is nice, but for anything other than an actual combat handgun, you don't really need capacity. Most civil disputes are settled with 1 or 2 shots, maybe 3. You're not going to be pulling this and laying down suppressing fire while you run to cover. You're not going to be engaging in some sort of wild flipping gunfight or whatever. The extra capacity doesn't really do anything except make the gun wider. But honestly, if you just want a gun which is comfortable, full size, is fun at the range, and is easy to shoot well-ish with, you could do a lot worse than this. Now let's talk about disassembly. I forgot my disassembly mat too, so we're just gonna do this sort of the quick and dirty way. Now, shoot. Now, this is the box that this came in, and you see it came with a pretty nice set of accoutrements. I think this is how it was shipped. Handgun, 2 magazines, thingy for your cleaning patches, bore brush, gun lock bullshit, and this very nice instruction manual, which is written in like 15 fucking different languages. Fucking whatever they decide to call themselves this week, the Czechoslovakians, the Czech Republic, the Chechens, fucking Martians. They do tend to write pretty good instruction manuals. They make pretty decent guns. I'm gonna sort of bring it back to that. They are basically Russian Germans or Eastern European Germans. Everything has these very nice diagrams. There's all these bits of information. Really, I think, well, it's not a bad manual. Disassembly itself is, however, something of a problem. See, for most handguns, which use the Browning style, you'd simply push the bushing in here, rotate this, take it off, take the gun apart towards the front. Actually, I have a funny story about me and a Argentine knockoff from 1911. Should take far too long to... No, it wouldn't, but I don't want to. So let's just go ahead and I'll show you what I mean by problems with disassembly. So to take this apart, the instruction manual, as near as I can be bothered to remember it, says make sure the gun is unloaded. Good safety tip. Fucking good safety tip. You know, open the gun, look through it. Yep, it's empty. After that, it wants you to bring the slide back to where these 2 notches on the frame and on the slide line up. Fairly easy, because that is where the gun mechanically rests before it hits further resistance. Now, the manual doesn't tell you how to take it apart very far. In fact, they tell you not to take it apart very far. Just kind of... I don't like that. Like, don't touch any of the fucking weird magic shit that goes on in the back of the slide or the trigger assembly. Just take the slide off, take the barrel off, wipe it down. 9 times out of 10, that's all you have to do. That's such common knowledge, and that's so easy to figure out on your own. Really, in my opinion, an instruction manual should exist to tell you these deeper things which you're going to have to know in some sort of an emergency, or if you just don't want to go to a gunsmith. Yeah. So, I haven't read it since I've been sober. It's been like a few hours. So I am actually going to have to go back and like read the disassembly part, because I have apparently forgotten how to take it apart. I just remember the 2 lines, and it being an absolute pain in the ass to get the slide stop out. So give me a moment. Jest pięknie, płynnie, reflection, disinhibitor, this is graphical, blah blah blah. This part's in French. Where's the English part? There we go. There we go. Page 24. There we go. Remove the magazine. If the pistol is equipped with manual safety, blah blah, safety, safety, safety. Track the hammer back slightly and then release it until it stops on the half-cocked notch position. Put your left thumb through the trigger guard, grasp the blah, line up the thing. Remove the slide stop. Okay, so yeah. Let's do that thing. Okay, just hikers. Okay, so I will tell you honestly, the slide stop needs a little bit of convincing. The manual explicitly tells you, find something to smack this part out with, because the magazine base plate is made out of rubber. We're going to be using the magazine base plate. As these people stare at me like I'm crazy. I might be. Fucking... Fucking ooga booga me caveman me shoot self in chest while trying to disassemble soy gun. Obviously, you should never point your weapon at your own chest and use your chest to hold the slide back as you attempt to punch out the part of the gun using the magazine. However, I don't care. So, that is what we are doing. So, oh fuck. Serious, this thing is really a pain in the ass. Honestly, this is my biggest and probably only real gripe with the CZ here, as some sort of fun thing to take to the range, is that it's not actually a fun thing to take to the range, because taking it apart to clean it afterwards is just not fun. So we're going to go ahead and use our evolved ape brain, and we're going to use a tool for something other than its intended purpose. And do that. So, with that done, we have this, which holds the entire gun together. And we have one disassembled pistol. I didn't bring my cleaning supplies because I'm not going to clean this here. Now I do want to point out, a lot of people talk shit about the machining on these things. I don't actually see anything wrong with it. It's neat, it's clean. I don't know if you can see, but I don't see any sloppy machining marks. I don't see anything especially that would impede the functioning of the handgun. Now I'm also not going to take the barrel apart, because I actually am. Now, what I do like about CZ is they've not put a captive spring on here, but their recoil spring assembly is at the very least relatively tidy. Well, it comes out as a unit with its guide rod to put it back in. All you have to do is feed it in there, the other way around and sort of squish it down there. You might say, well, that describes every pistol that uses Browning style action. It does. For some reason, this is actually just easier, for me at least. And then the barrel. It's a tilting barrel, so you tilt it and you pull it out. After that, obviously go ahead and clean it. For cleaning, just for those who don't know, my advice would be run the bore brush down it once or twice. Take a dry patch, run it down there, in and out. Take a fresh patch wet with oil, run it through there until you stop putting oil on the gun. Take a new fresh patch, run it through twice. Then run a new oiled patch through just once to oil it up and keep it from rusting as you store it. Very easy. Keep the gun from rusting while it's in your safe or your shoebox or wherever you store it. Again, very tidy machining marks. I do see right here, which is like the tiniest little nitpick for whoever is, can't see the LG, yeah, there we go. Just the tiniest little nitpick for whoever is managing these machinists. There's a little bit, the relief cut here is just a tiny bit sloppy. It looks like it's gone a bit too far in. But again, that's not going to impede the function of the handgun. It's fine. Disassembly or reassembly is somewhat more difficult because I have shaky alcoholic and smoker's hands and I am not good at this. So, like I said, force the thing in place, screw up, very nearly just completely surrender. I don't know if I have this in the right way. Do I? Is it this way? Yes, it is. Okay, never mind. Seriously, I'm going to tell you, if this thing had a actual decocker and was full length, I would actually consider keeping it around. But for the caliber, I don't like 9x19. I don't think it has a reason to exist. Relatively low penetration, but it's also not a lot of mass. It's like the worst of every possible world. CZ made this in 7.62 Tokarev or 45. I know they made a 45 CZ75B and it didn't sell. But yeah. Honestly, the memes have let me down again because this is not at all fun. It's a perfectly ordinary, piddly little 9mm handgun. It's just okay. That's it. Review over. I would like to take this time to thank my Patreon sponsors. They should probably spend their money on other things which are not me. Mostly because, you know, I kind of suck. But thank you anyway. I must go now. Because it's like exactly 8:05 a.m. and This is, in fact, part of a residential neighborhood. So, I should probably leave.